So what are these 5 invitations? And this is what I was thinking we could practice this evening. Not that we're practicing dying, but it is perhaps a way to cultivate giving ourselves over to the subtlety of practice. And the first one is that nothing is left undone. Nothing is left undone. Basically, coming into a place of effortlessness in this moment, and it may be that we have a lot on our plate. I have an incredibly busy June coming up. I'll be away for a couple of weeks. I'm doing programming. So in this moment, nothing is left undone. So for us, those of us who are not dying and planning to have a very busy year ahead, nonetheless, this itself can be a mindfulness practice, becoming effortless and recognizing consciously that there's nothing in this moment to do, nothing is undone. How does that feel when I say that? Nothing is undone. Is it possible to just sort of have a moment where that becomes a truth on some level without the mind just coming back and going, yes, but, oh my gosh, tonight I have to, tomorrow It's really trying to bring us into the present moment effortlessly. The second one, the second invitation, as I'm calling them, is to trust that all the practice you have done is there for you now. So whether, again, this isn't necessarily having to be part of our dying process, although I think it could be, but it can simply be sitting on your cushion as you are just seeking to settle. Have a sense that everything in the past, every experience that you have had that has been really generative in practice has left you with an imprint of some kind. It has left you with something wholesome on a very subtle level. Even if you can't feel it in that moment, it doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean that you don't have that kind of imprint from it, that wholesome imprint. So we're talking about simplicity in the practice itself here. If you have a sense, trusting that your practice is there for you now, how does that feel? Does it feel true? Does it feel like, I'm not sure I can feel that? But see, this is another aspect perhaps of cultivating faith, just having faith in your experiences that have led up to this moment. Maybe this means accessing it more freely because we're not trying to get there. We're just sort of trusting and confident, perhaps, that what we've experienced in the path on the cushion is still with us in some way, whether or not we can feel it. So that's another invitation. The third is really about accompaniment. And it has to do with our benefactors. So abiding with your benefactors, the ones who have supported you. This could be maybe a parent. Today we're celebrating our mothers, or yourselves if you're a mother, or siblings. I talked to my sister today. It was lovely. She was taking time out and walking in a garden with her husband and reflecting on my nephew. So it was lovely. I got pictures too. But the key here is remembering that you are accompanied on this path, whatever that means for you. So maybe I'm accompanied by Amitabha Buddha, or I am accompanied by the ones who have shown me the way to really truly love deeply and unconditionally. Maybe it is a place, it's sort of a location in a mountain that I feel just the sacred connection to. Maybe it's God. Yeah. And it could even be the Tathagata. the enlightened one, or at the center of our own natural awareness. Either way, we are accompanied. And so this reminder of accompaniment, to rest in the arms of your benefactors, just upon sitting, is itself as well, I think, faith building. Just give yourself over to the arms of your benefactors. It can change that momentum when we sit to practice meditation and the mind is just going through a flurry of just rumination. Reminding yourself to simply give it all over to the benefactors and rest in the arms of their support. So that's another invitation, really. They're never far from us. The fourth is the heart of the path. And here it's just recognizing basic goodness. This too, as I mentioned just a moment ago, is in this place of rest, in this place of slowing, of sitting, just having the faith that your underlying heart is nourished by and rooted in basic goodness, deep, wholesome intent. Bodhicitta motivation, another way to say it. Just remind yourself, again, it may not be that we can feel it in that moment, if we've had a difficult day, if momentum is doing, but this may be another reminder. Benefactors, and also, oh, I have this natural capacity to be loving. That doesn't mean I have to now, start throwing it around to everyone who crosses my path. But here, as I'm sitting, just touching into this basic goodness, regardless of whatever narrative about myself that I might be feeling. We can also, in this invitation, the invitation of the heart, if you will, consider things like gratitude. In Tibetan, it's called kadendrempa, remembering, appreciating the kindness that others have shown us. Or forgiveness. This may also be an invitation to forgiveness if necessary, but certainly loving kindness and compassion. Because if these weren't already there as capacities, then we'd never be able to create them. How on earth would we manufacture loving kindness and compassion? Chances are, if you're on a cushion already, you've had that experience before, you've touched into that part of your heart, and you know it's part of you. It's just, oh, I can't get to it right now. Either that or, oh my gosh, this is just opening up like a wish-fulfilling gem, yeah. And then the last one is really about presence, about natural awareness. So much like the awakening of faith is guiding us to have, quote unquote, faith in the Tathagata Garbha, this root of our awakening, the thus gone one, that aspect of who we are that is already awake. Having faith in what we can call natural awareness, and that this, we can actually rest in this when everything else settles. There are three qualities in Vajrayana that sort of characterize this notion of rigpa, of awareness. Yeah, this is the Tibetan word for awareness. And these three qualities are light, heat, and bliss. Often they're talked about in those terms. I like to think of it as clarity, warmth, and joy. Either way, this sense of lightness, of brightness of mind, of clarity that we're seeking. This sense of warmth, that in the brightness and the clarity is this natural heat or warmth, healing, love, passion, compassion, connection. And at the heart of this quality, whether we call it bliss or just very natural sense of well-being, of joy. It may be hard to get to bliss. Depends on, the kinds of things that we're holding. But joy is, in my opinion, is more kind of readily available, perhaps. Well-being, contentment, that kind of thing. And that these qualities are also part of this natural awareness. So when we can rest in the heart of our natural awareness in this way, we're cultivating a really beneficial presence. And then we are really at the heart of the practice. And ultimately, these qualities are all part of one open state. So if we want to sort of break them down, this is just skillful means or tools to help us open to this quality. But as in Vajrayana, we talk about one taste, which is sort of the third of the four stages of Mahamudra. That is that state of one taste where there is no dualism between these things. We're just abiding there openly. Yeah. Eventually, that too is possible, and maybe that's another sort of definition for faith, is just knowing that we have this and being patient with our faith so that we're not now clinging. Yeah, it's not, faith here isn't about attachment, but it's about freedom.